In our continued look at the NHL draft, we're going to focus today's video on the argument of best versus need. Find that subscribe button and hit it. Don't miss a video. Also, go to Twitter, follow at TLOMitch. That's me. Don't miss any breaking information about Islanders prospects I've yet to share on the channel. I don't care who you are, you have had this debate at some point. Whether with a spouse or partner, at a family outing, or at the bar with a friend, you have had the debate of drafting best over needs at some point in your life. So let's talk about it right here as we think about the NHL draft vis-a-vis the New York Islanders. Should they draft best or should they draft need? Now, I think it's important to start this whole thing with what do we mean by need? And need specifically, at least in my opinion, is drafting solely based off position. I'm doing this, I'm putting the blinders on. I'm drafting solely based off position. I'm pulling a 2012 Garth Snow where he drafts just defensemen. That's drafting need, saying, I need defensemen in my team or in my system. That is all I'm looking at is just defensemen. I don't care about forwards, wingers, goalies. I don't care. I'm just drafting through a position. Now that we know what needs means, we can look at what the difference is between best versus needs. When you're approaching the NHL draft, do you take the best available player or the best available player at that position? And already you can see the problem with that. Already, just immediately. Who do I pick? The best available player, irregardless of position, or the best guy at that position? That's a problem because the best guy overall could be, let's say, the number 5 overall player. But you're saying, I only need defensemen, so I'm taking number 12. Well, you're missing 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You're missing a lot of players to go and pick this one guy that you need. You think you need at least. The other problem for drafting best or need over best is that when you come to fill that need, that player might not be able to fill that need. So let's just use that example, drafting the 12th overall instead of the 5th overall, because you have a specific need right now. We're not going to say like, oh, I have a need in 2 years from now. No, you don't. You don't actually know that because you're not 2 years from now. You're now. So you're trying to fill a void now. Does that player fill that void for you? Probably not, right? Unless you're drafting 1st overall, that player is not going to make that jump from the NHL draft floor to the actual NHL. There is an incubation period, a development period that exists. Rarely do players jump from the draft to the NHL itself. If you think back to the videos that I've done on where or who the Islanders could pick at 13th overall, usually over the last 5 drafts that I've looked at, the incubation period or the developmental period, if you will, is 2 years. At least for either forwards or defensemen. It's going to take at least 2 years for that player you drafted to hit the NHL floor. Average. That's an average. So when you have a need now, you're not actually filling it for 2 years from now. Now let's flip this example and talk best over need. So we're going to go back to the 5th and the 12th, right? Instead of going, I'm looking for the best defenseman, so I'm going to pick the 12th because that's where the first defenseman is going to be. You're picking the best available player at number 5. Now, theoretically, you're getting what should be the 5th best player in that draft class. Now, of course, everyone's going to start screaming Michael Dal Colle, and you're absolutely right. Michael Dal Colle is a thing. The draft is still kind of a gamble, but you should be getting the 5th best player in that draft class when you pick 5th and not the 12th best player in that draft class if you just look on base needs. So that's really where we get into this debate and where it really focuses on you have to take the best available player. You have to remember when I'm talking about the 5th best or the 12th best, I'm not talking about like NHL central scouting best. I'm talking internal best because no one's going off central lists and someone else's lists. They have their own. They have their own list that they've curated themselves. And so if they're going to be jumping 6 players on their own list because they're drafting based off needs, there's a big problem there. They're leapfrogging 6 players they think is better than the one they're actually taking, which really kind of shows you the problem in drafting need over best. Not only are you not going to fill that need for 2 years, but you might not even be filling that need with a good player. So when it comes to the draft, you take the best available player and you fill that need some other way. Thank you for following. Thank you for watching. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, what are you waiting for? Do it. And if you have, or plan on doing so now that I said so, thank you, thank you, thank you.